You are watching the World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. Let's begin with the top headlines you need to know. After months of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations of India's involvement in the killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian Commission report has concluded that there is no definitive link to a foreign state in Nijjar's killing. The US Federal Reserve maintains its benchmark interest rate after slashing it 3 times in a row. This marks the committee's first policy meeting since Donald Trump assumed office as US President. And the US President has signed a memorandum to begin preparing a facility on the Guantanamo Bay naval base to detain what he claims are tens of thousands of the worst undocumented immigrants. Microsoft-backed OpenAI's chief Sam Altman is planning to visit India as per reports in what could be his first visit in 2 years at a time when the company faces legal challenges in our country. Well, the top story we're tracking, a Canadian Commission report has said there is no definitive link with a foreign state in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Back in September 2023, if you remember correctly, Trudeau had claimed that Canada had credible evidence that Indian agents were involved in Nijjar's murder in British Columbia. However, this report, titled Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions, which was released on Tuesday, suggested that while India may have spread disinformation following Justin Trudeau's claims, there's no conclusive foreign link to the killing that's been established. So the latest Canadian Commission report has said there was no definitive link with a foreign state in the killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Back in 2023, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had claimed that Canada actually had credible evidence that Indian agents were involved in Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder on Canadian soil in British Columbia. However, this latest report that's been released on Tuesday, which is titled Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions, this suggests that while India may have spread disinformation following Justin Trudeau's claims, no conclusive foreign link to the killing was established. My colleague Maha Siddiqui has been tracking all the finer details for us. She joins us live at the moment. Maha, so the Canadian Commission report says there's no definitive link with a foreign state in Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing?
Yes, this is the Hague Commission report, the Commissioner report rather, wherein 100 witnesses' testimony was recorded over a period of 16 months. And this followed a report by the intelligence agency that had in fact put out some startling comments, and one was with regards to the foreign interference, alleging that there was from India as well, to which now the Hague Commission report that is now out has clearly mentioned that there is no definitive link to any foreign state that could be proven. However, this is unlikely, Parmeshwar, as we see it from here at the moment, to improve the ties between India and Canada over this issue specifically. This is because the same report in a later part where it discusses in detail the Hardeep Singh Nijjar killing and the aftermath of that in terms of the diplomatic relationship between India and Canada, says that the terms of reference for this report did not allow them to go into transnational repression of Canada, and that it gives the government the leeway, in fact, to respond to any such situation based on the realities that they have basis other reports as well. So in this case, and if you read the entire report, even though at one part it clearly says that no definitive link was proven to any foreign nation, any foreign state, but on the other hand, still giving the leeway to the government to act on other reports as well. And the report that we will mention here is the report by the RCMP, that is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, that had also given a report. One of the elements of the report had suggested persons of interest in this case, specifically the Hardeep Singh Nijjar killing, basis which Canada had expelled 6 Indian diplomats, and in response, India had done the same with Canada.
Right. As always, Maha, thank you so much for joining us with the lowdown. Well, let's switch tracks now. US President Donald Trump has signed the Laken-Riley Act into law, giving federal authorities in the United States broader power to deport immigrants in the US illegally who have been accused of crimes. He also announced at the ceremony that his administration planned to send the worst criminal aliens to a detention center in Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. But this bipartisan act, which is the first piece of legislation approved during Trump's second term, was named for Riley, a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student who was slain last year by a Venezuelan man in the US illegally. Now, while the Laken-Riley Act passed with bipartisan support, many critics are arguing that it criminalizes immigrants on a larger scale. But just listen in to what Trump had to say, followed by my colleague Mitch McCann's report from New York.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all.
At the White House, President Trump raised for the first time the prospect of sending migrants to the Guantanamo Bay detention center. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people, Mr. Trump said, explaining he would direct various agencies to prepare a migrant facility there. The president's predecessors, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, had signaled intentions to close the facility while they were in office, and critics have labelled it a moral stain on America for holding suspected terrorists without charge or trial. Currently, it holds only around 15 prisoners. Mr. Trump's comments come as Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE officers, carry out raids to find illegal immigrants across the United States. ICE said it arrested 1,000 people on Tuesday in the US. In 2024, an average of 312 people were arrested each day. Officials in some cities say that migrant communities are now living in fear of being raided by law enforcement. Meanwhile, the White House has rescinded an order that froze trillions of dollars in government grants and loans. The order, sent out earlier this week, directed agencies to review and eliminate spending on so-called woke ideologies. After widespread confusion, concern and legal cases, the Office of Management and Budget said the directive had been rescinded. The change in direction is the first major U-turn from the administration as it continues to implement a large volume of executive orders. Mitch McCann, NDTV, New York.
Ray Locker joins us for a quick comment on the implications of this act. Thanks so much, Ray, as always, for your time. Now, given Guantanamo's controversial history, what are the legal and ethical implications of this decision? Do you think such a move would actually be challenged in courts, and if so, on what grounds?
Well, it's obviously going to be challenged in court because we don't know if it's legal or not. I mean, it has not been authorized by an act of Congress, any kind of law, any kind of deliberations. You know, the Guantanamo camp was opened in about more than 20 years ago, in the beginning of the War on Terror, as a secret facility under CIA supervision. That's not the case now. So the rules are different. I don't know what all the rules are, but it's far more complicated than what the president said today.
Also, sending immigrants to Guantanamo to avoid potential re-entry, doesn't it sound like a logistical and financial challenge?
Well, it's going to be very expensive. You have to find these people. You have to send them down to this base at the edge, eastern edge of Cuba. You have to find places for them to sleep and stay. You have issues where not all of these people, according to the Lake and Riley Act, are actually convicted of crimes. So you have people who may be awaiting a trial and they have no access to their lawyers or their families.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge logistical problem.
Well, Ray, thanks so much for joining us with your quick comments. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates as and when this proceeds to courts. But one must keep in mind that this approach of Trump's could backfire in terms of cost, overcrowding, and international relations as well. And in staying with updates from the United States, after 3 consecutive cuts, the US Fed held interest rates steady and signaled that it's in no rush to make further changes. Trump, though, has responded with sharp criticism of the bank. But the US Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, has given no indication of whether President Donald Trump's trade policies would impact the central bank's future decisions. But inflation remains above the Fed's 2% target, and economists have warned that tariffs could drive prices up further. But Mr. Powell stressed that he would not comment, even indirectly, on tariffs. Uncertainty is with us all the time, is what he said. But Trump's return is, however, clearly weighing on one bank, at least one central bank. Canadian policymakers cited US tariff threats in their decision to cut rates on Wednesday. By the way, the US president has appealed his conviction for covering up hush money payments to a porn star and appointed new lawyers to expunge the first conviction of a former president. This is what his legal team has disclosed. Trump named lawyers from the prestigious firm Sullivan and Cromwell in an effort to overturn the New York jury's guilty verdict and the sentence passed by the judge in the case on the 10th of this month. Well, in other news, in a move that's sure to capture global attention, Sam Altman, the chief of Microsoft-backed OpenAI, is preparing for a highly anticipated visit to India. Reports say that Mr. Altman's trip is scheduled for February, perhaps the first week, marking his first visit to the country in nearly 2 years. Now, you must note that the timing is significant as OpenAI faces mounting legal hurdles in India, adding a layer of intrigue to Sam Altman's trip. Reports also revealed that the CEO is expected to meet with key government officials during this touchdown, potentially paving the way for important discussions on the future of artificial intelligence in India. Well, in other news, Donald Trump has tasked billionaire Elon Musk's SpaceX to bring back stranded NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore from the International Space Station. Now, both Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams have actually been aboard the space station, the Starliner capsule, in the last year for a presumed, they had gone for a presumed 8 to 10 day mission. They have actually been stuck there for about 8 months now. The astronauts were left in space after an issue with their Boeing Starliner capsule, and that delayed their return. But Musk has claimed on social media that SpaceX would get them home as soon as possible, calling it terrible that they were left in space so long under Joe Biden's administration. Meanwhile, the Indian Space Research Organization may have taken 46 years to achieve the 100 mission milestone, but the country's space agency is now confident of scoring the next century in relatively quicker time, which is just half a decade. ISRO Chairman V. Narayanan, who oversaw the 100th mission, the GSLV F-15 NVS-02 navigation satellite launch, exuded confidence that the space agency could breach the 200 mark in 5 years. Listen in.
Plus 20 seconds.
विहंगम दृश्य सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन GSLV F-15 रॉकेट का.
Right, let's get you a quick update from West Bengal now. Well, the 48th Kolkata International Book Fair, one of the world's largest book fairs in terms of footfall, kickstarts in Kolkata, with the theme being Germany this year. The German ambassador to India and Bhutan, Philip Ackerman, described this book fair as the Kumbh Mela Bengali style and spoke to NDTV on the partnership. Here's what he told us.
Sir, you made a statement that many believe that was the best description the Kolkata Book Fair could have ever had. You said it's the Kumbh Mela Bengali style. Tell me why you feel so.
Well, I think Kolkata and Bengal are the cultural and artistic heart of India, and I think there is no better place for such a book fair. And you see, you have over 2 million visitors, so it's really a big mela. I mean, there are very many people, And that shows the interest that people in West Bengal and elsewhere have in books. And, you know, Kolkata Book Fair is a household name. It's the 48th edition. I'm very impressed by the, by the sheer size and the dedication. We have heard the Chief Minister speaking during the inauguration ceremony, and I think it is a event that is dear to the heart of Bengali. So it's a Kumbh Mela in a way.
And we spoke, I think you touched upon, and the Chief Minister touched upon the specific sort of cultural and literary ties between India and Germany. And, the examples of authors and, the inspiration that our authors have taken from Germany and vice versa. Tell us a little bit about that. What stands out for you in terms of this collaboration at the book fair?
So I think Indo-German roots when it comes to culture go back to the 19th century, where Max Müller, the famous Max Müller, started to translate the Rig Ved and interpret it and explain it to the public in the West. But through the ages, we have a very, very rich Indology, also with non-Hindi language like Kannada or Malayalam, and you have a very, very strong German interest in these parts of the country and strong researchers at German universities. But what we see here now is more than that. It's not only the tradition, it's the modern, the open-minded Germany. And what the Goethe-Institut Max Müller did here in this pavilion was basically showcasing that Germany is much more than Max Müller, although it's very important, but we have a very modern, diverse, extremely vibrant and colorful Germany to show.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Now we move on to the next category, which is the Youth Icon of the Year. And for this, मैं एक बार फिर से request करूँगी आशा पारेख जी का स्टेज पर आने के लिए, और साथ ही invite करेंगे मयंक अग्रवाल जी को, CEO Gallant Group of Industries, to join us on stage for this next category of awards.
Ananya Pandey.
Congratulations, Ananya. And Ananya Pandey, actor, is getting this award for her advocacy work on combating cyberbullying, growing achievements in the film industry, and strong influence on social media. And that's what makes Ananya Pandey NDTV Youth Icon of the Year 2024. She represents a blend of modern values, relatability, and a commitment to meaningful causes, which are essential qualities for inspiring today's youth.
Congratulations, very many congratulations.
Thank you.
And Ananya, there are just a few questions for
Yes.
you. You've, diverse characters, and you've made a shift from big screen to OTT. Big superstars have done their shift. What is your opinion on that, and what's your next move?
Firstly, I just want to thank NDTV for this award. It's truly very, very humbling, and to get it from Asha Parekh ji, I'm such a big fan of your work, so this is a pinch me moment for sure. I don't believe any screen is too big or small. It's a screen at the end of the day, and the world is developing so fast. There's so many changes that are being made, so I think we're all just keeping up with the times.
Ananya, the fact is that 2024, this year has been phenomenal for you. One success after another. Kahan Kho Gaye Hum, Call Me Bae, CTRL. How does it feel to have multiple successes in one single year?
it's really a dream come true. I really think this year for me more than ever I felt very connected to my fans with Kho Gaye Hum Kahan and Call Me Bae and Control. I've done movies in the past, but this is the first time that I felt true love from the audience. And you know, all these films and shows have been conversation starters. People have not just come up to me and said that they like my work, but how my work has kind of made them feel seen or represented on screen. And for an actor, I think that's a huge victory for me.
So Asha ji is here on stage, and I sometimes back मैंने आपसे ये पूछा था कि आज के दौर में स्टारडम कैसे हैंडल करना है, तो अनन्या आपके साथ हैं जो स्टारडम को एक अलग तरीके से हैंडल कर रही हैं. कुछ एडवाइस अनन्या के लिए, या अनन्या आपको आशा जी से कुछ पूछना है?
जी आप प्लीज बताइए, आप मुझे एडवाइस दीजिए प्लीज.
क्या बताऊं?
कुछ भी, आप कुछ भी बताइए, मैं ले लूंगी.
Sincerity, hard work takes you.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Well, Doug Rand, former senior advisor, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, has spoken to NDTV on U.S. President Donald Trump's recent immigration crackdown, including revoking birthright citizenship. Here's what he told Gauri Dwivedi regarding the H-1 visa.
The executive order that Donald Trump came out with last week, it has caused a lot of anxiety, specifically among the Indian immigrant community there. Explain to us who all are covered, and then we come to the legality of it in just a bit. But in your assessment, what do you think could be the kind of impact we are talking about this executive order?
Honestly, I think the impact is more fear than reality. This is a sweeping executive order that is unconstitutional on its face. It is attempting to roll back over a century of legal precedent in the United States and say that if somebody is born in the United States and their parents are either undocumented or on a temporary visa here legally, certainly under the jurisdiction of the United States, that all of those children would not be born U.S. citizens. It's a really symbolic gesture. I don't think that Trump's people expected it to last very long in the courts. I think they're taking a gamble and figuring, well, best case scenario, we win in the Supreme Court someday, which is very unlikely. But worst case scenario, we still scare a lot of people. And I would add, it's scaring people who are both here with and without papers.
I was going to come to the legality of it as to whether it's going to stand in a court of law. The fact that the Supreme Court is conservative leaning, in your assessment, do you think the Trump administration would be willing to probably wait it out for it to reach all the way to the Supreme Court?
I think absolutely they'll wait it out. Fortunately, as you saw last week, a federal judge, a Republican-appointed federal judge, called it blatantly unconstitutional and blocked it. So there's going to be no change. Birthright citizenship is still the law of the land, as it has been since the Civil War.
And finally, hundreds of millions across Asia are gearing up to celebrate the Lunar New Year, saying goodbye to the Year of the Dragon and welcoming in the Year of the Snake. In China, the Spring Festival kicks off with 8 days of public holidays, and during the traditional 40-day period that runs before, during and after the Lunar New Year holidays, a massive 9 billion trips are expected to be made across the country.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Joining us today is somebody whose journey in Indian cinema is almost parallel to independent India's journey. Almost 7-8 decades that she has acted, directed, censored Indian cinema. She has been a vital part, a vital cog of India's journey through all these 7-8 decades. Asha Parekh, welcome to NDTV.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Asha ji, you were part of the golden era of Indian cinema, worked with the best filmmakers, iconic actors. How do you look at your own journey?
Well, it's been a very long journey, and I enjoyed being where I was, and the adulation of the fans was really very great, and I enjoyed it.
And more than the enjoyment, you contributed immensely to the growth of Indian cinema through, the years that it was actually growing up.
Yeah, it was a golden era, I would say, and we had lovely music, we had lovely lyrics, very good directors, very good cameramen. Not that we don't have them now, but at that time it was a different thing altogether.
And 1960s and 1970s, there was a lot of larger than life, depiction in cinema. How did you see the transition? I mean, your own journey and the transition of Indian cinema.
Well, the films which I did were happy-go-lucky cinema.
Like
and
you.
Yes, and the transition which has taken place has been good, I think so. We are coming out with more realistic films, and sometimes the films are not good because they don't have a good story, a good script. That's what I feel. In our times, the dialogues were very beautiful. I remember Main Tulsi Tere Aangan Ki. Dr. Saab had written such fabulous dialogues that I think it was one of the best films of my life.
And Kati Patang?
Yes, Kati Patang also. That was Gulshan Nanda's story. And it was a little bit of a shift from my glamour image into doing some serious roles.
And then breaking of taboos, you were depicting a subject which was very taboo during those days.
Yes.
So, from being this glam queen to those kind of roles, I mean, how did you dabble through all those genres?
Well, it wasn't very difficult, but as such, people thought that I was just a glamour girl and not a good artist. So I had to prove myself that no, I can act. And that started with Do Badan. Not from Kati Patang, but Do Badan.
But tell us, Asha ji, your journey in Indian cinema is almost like, 7 decades plus journey. See, India also changed a lot, Bollywood changed a lot.
Yes.
How do you see the transition?
and good morning. I'm Radhika Ramaswamy joining you from Mumbai studios. Welcome to this breakfast show. Divya is also joining us from Delhi. Divya, from ground reports from Mahakumbh, where stampede tragedy struck, killing 30 people, to all the political tug-of-war over Yamuna water in Delhi, we have lots coming up.
Right, we have a lot coming up. We'll get you a ground report on the health update as far as those who got injured in that stampede in Mahakumbh on Wednesday. And of course, the Chief Minister there is saying that everything is under control, but a judiciary inquiry has been ordered in order to know how in the world did this really happen. So that and a whole lot more on the breakfast show. Let's start with the headlines. 30 people have died and 60 people have been injured, with Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath asking for an inquiry as to what really went wrong and how the lessons that can be learned from this. VVIP passes have been cancelled and there's a ban as far as four-wheelers are concerned.
And Yamuna water wars intensifies. Haryana court has in fact summoned former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal.
And a spike in pollution has led to grab 3 measures that have been invoked in the Delhi NCR region, which basically means there's a ban on construction work and classes up in the schools. Well, now the parents can decide if they want to keep the kids as far as online or offline classes are concerned. That's an option that's been given to the parents.
An all-party meet ahead of budget session. Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman all set to present a union budget on February 1.
And just after months of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations as far as India's involvement in the killing of Khalistani separatists, Hardeep Singh Nijjar is concerned. Now a report has come out by the Canadian Commission that has concluded that there was no definite link to a foreign state. Let's just get your top story, and that's the tragedy that took place at the Mahakumbh yesterday, where 30 people died in a stampede that unfolded in the wee hours of the morning. Well, there are now measures that are being taken by the UP government. There are 5 major changes that have been introduced with a complete no as far as vehicles are concerned, and VVIP passes have been cancelled. So, Radhika, a lot of changes being made by the government, and of course we did hear Yogi Adityanath yesterday saying that what are the lessons that can be learned, and from given the fact that there are more Amrit Snans that are going to be coming up, there are more those special dates, there are 2 more of those dates that are coming up in the month of February. Radhika.
That's right, many more special days coming out, but 5 major changes introduced, as you mentioned: complete no vehicle zone, Divya, VVIP passes cancelled, one-way routes implemented, and other district vehicles have now been restricted here. Four-wheelers ban until Feb 4. Let's go straight across to Aishwarya, who's bringing us all the ground details from Prayagraj, from the spot of the incident. Aishwarya, take us through all of these new measures that have been implemented post this tragedy.
Well, since yesterday, it was Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath who was in direct touch with the authorities of Mela over here in Kumbh, and there was a coordinated control center that was set up. DIG yesterday clearly informed that there are helpline numbers which had been issued to the pilgrims as well, who are still finding their loved ones who have been misplaced since yesterday's stampede incident, and therefore the reason, perhaps after having a wild consultations and a series of meetings between the top cops from Lucknow and from Prayagraj, there are several restrictions now in place. New guidelines had been issued as far as Kumbh is concerned. Now we have been told that 5 major changes as far as the security arrangements are concerned, apart from the heavy security that has been deployed at the Sangam Ghat where the stampede broke out. We've been told that it will be now complete no vehicle zone in and around the Sangam Ghat area, and there will be just pilgrims that would be given permission to enter at that particular place. One-way routes had been implemented at different sections of the Prayagraj as well, and also there will be vehicle entry restricted. We have been seeing since yesterday, what we are witnessing is that the passes for the vehicles that had been issued, only those are being allowed to enter in the nearby area of Kumbh Mela as per the guidelines of the Kumbh Mela authorities, and they are being thoroughly checked as well. Strict restrictions until February 4 is something that we have been told as far as 4 vehicles are concerned. No vehicle that are registered from different districts can enter Prayagraj. The most important one is the VVIP movements. Yesterday as well, there were several opposition parties who attacked the UP government and Yogi Adityanath government that there were VVIP movements that are in place. Most of the police officers had been deployed to provide security to the VVIPs who are reaching in Prayagraj. But it was clarified yesterday by the DIG itself that yesterday as well, at that point of time when the stampede broke out, there was no VIP protocol that was in place, and they had now lifted off the VVIP protocols as well as far as the entire Sangam Ghat areas are concerned. Most importantly, apart from these 5 new restrictions which has come in place since yesterday, it is also senior secretary level officers which had now been deployed for till further Kumbh Mela. Those IAS officers who had an experience of organizing the Earth Kumbh had also now been deployed in Kumbh Mela after the stampede broke out. Remember, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister had got 4 times call from Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday, and the instructions were also given from the central government over here as to how to manage it, and now the situation seems under control as far as the entire incident broke out yesterday. Almost 9 crore pilgrims had taken a holy dip at the Sangam Ghat on the occasion of Mauni Amavasya.
Right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for telling us about the kind of changes that the government has now introduced in regard to the Mahakumbh Mela, which is going to be carrying on till the 26th of February. Now, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, of course, like Aishwarya mentioned, has ordered a judicial inquiry to find out really what went wrong and what really led to the stampede at the Mahakumbh, in which 30 people have died and 60 others have been injured. The Chief Minister also announced a compensation of 25 lakh rupees each for the family of the people who lost their lives. That stampede that broke out in the wee hours of the morning on Wednesday ahead of the Amrit Snan on Mauni Amavasya, killing 30 people like we mentioned. Now, of course, Radhika, the big worry and concern regarding the other special such events that are going to be taking place in the month of February during the Mahakumbh. Absolutely. A lot of caution required in the next few days. 30 people have died and several others injured. Addressing the media, of course, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said situation is under control, but the crowd pressure remains. He also urged devotees to take a dip at the closest ghats instead of stressing over going to the Sangam nose. He also urging citizens to not believe in rumors, but the fact remains that 30 people have lost their lives. As you mentioned, a judicial inquiry has also been ordered, and Prime Minister Modi speaking to the Chief Minister multiple times over the last several hours. The centre, of course, keeping a close watch on the relief and rescue work, even as opposition has blamed the UP government of self-promotion and self-PR. Divya.
कि हम इसकी एक जुडिशल इंक्वायरी भी करेंगे, क्योंकि कई बार रिव्यू होने के बाद स्थानीय स्तर पर हर प्रकार की सतर्कता के बाद आखिर कहां से ऐसे हादसे फिर भी होते हैं और हुए हैं। इसके लिए हम लोगों ने न्यायमूर्ति हर्ष कुमार के नेतृत्व में पूर्व डीजी श्री वीके गुप्ता और रिटायर्ड आईएएस श्री डीके सिंह, इन 3 सदस्यीय जुडिशियल कमीशन को भी इसके लिए गठित किया जा रहा है।
क्षेत्र में अखाड़ा मार्ग पर भारी भीड़ का दबाव बना और इस भीड़ के दबाव के कारण दूसरी ओर के बैरिकेड्स टूट गए और भीड़ के लोग बैरिकेड्स बांधकर दूसरी तरफ ब्रह्म मुहूर्त के स्नान का इंतजार कर रहे श्रद्धालुओं को कुचलना शुरू कर दिया। यद्यपि प्रशासन ने तत्काल राहत और बचाव कार्य करते हुए ग्रीन कॉरिडोर बनाया और एम्बुलेंस के माध्यम से लगभग 90 घायलों को अस्पताल तक पहुंचाया, परंतु इसमें से दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण तरीके से 30 श्रद्धालुओं की दुखद मृत्यु हो गई है।
But what really happened and what really led to the stampede? Of course, people saying that there was some kind sort of pushing and the barriers were shut, and which is what really led to the stampede. And they really finally had to break the barriers in order to ensure that the number of casualties does not rise. 30 people eventually ended up losing their lives, and a big worry about the 60 who have been injured and are undergoing treatment in various hospitals of Uttar Pradesh. My colleague Aishwarya spoke to some of the people after the tragedy and some of those who lost their loved ones.
अरे माता जी, आप थी वहाँ पर कल रात को?
मेरी माँ और मेरी भाभी खत्म हो गई है। वहाँ पर हम लोग कुंभ नहाने के लिए आए। हम सोचे कि सारी सुविधा होगी, हम लोग कभी नहीं आए थे। मेरी माँ कह रहे थे कि मैं नहाऊंगी, हमको ले चलो एक बार नहवा दो। वहाँ पर अब सरकार जी पूरा अथरुआ लगाए होंगे। हम लोग नहीं जानते थे कि इतना सुविधा नहीं होगा। जब हम यहाँ पर आए नहाने के लिए, उधर से पब्लिक इधर से पब्लिक, पूरा सब पूरा नाकाबंदी कर दिए थे। न आदमी इधर से जा रहे थे न उधर से। अगर वो दरवाज़ा खोल दिए होते उधर से तो पब्लिक लोग नहीं मरती, न मेरी माँ मरती, न मेरी भाभी मरती। लेकिन वो लोग खोले ही नहीं। जब मर गए सभी लोग मरने लगे, एक एक पर लाश 55 झट लाश पड़ने लगी, तब भाग दौड़ होने लगा। तब जे जहाँ अपना जान बचा कैसे बचाने, वो भी हम लोग 4-5 घंटे खड़े थे।
कहाँ से आए थे? और
जौनपुर से आए। हमारा नाम जगवंती है, जौनपुर जिला से आए हैं। हमारा जो गांव है उसनावपुर है।
यहाँ अस्पताल में कब पहुँचे और क्या आपको अभी आपके जो परिवारजन है वो
आए हैं? 9-10 बजे का मट्टी आया है। अभी मेरी माता मेरी भाभी का 9-10 बजे का आया है। अभी हमें को मिला नहीं है। हम लोग अभी इतना टाइम हो गया लेकिन अभी हमें कुछ नहीं भी अभी मिला है। अगर ऐसे करे होते तो हम लोग नहीं आते। हम नहीं जानते कि इतना सुविधा नहीं है। सब घेर के सबके पब्लिक को मार रहे हैं तो हम लोग नहीं आते।
बैरियर कैसे टूट गया?
वो सब बंद कर दिए थे, पूरा नाकाबंदी करके, कोई खोल ही नहीं रहे। तभी ना तब आज पब्लिक लोग मार के तोड़ रहे थे। तब भी तोड़ के जैसे भाग के अपना जान बचाया तैसे बचाया। और तो सब मरने लगे, तब जान गए कि हम सब लोग मर जाएंगे। तब अपना वो लोग तोड़ के भागने लगे। नहीं टूट पाए। वो लोग उधर से लाठी चार्ज कर रहे थे, मार रहे थे, नहीं खोलने दे रहे थे। अगर खोल दिए होते ना तो पब्लिक नहीं मरते।
Some breaking development just ahead of Delhi polls. Delhi cops have in fact seized a car which was labelled Punjab government. Divya, in fact, cash, liquor, Aam Aadmi Party pamphlets have been found. Punjab Sarkar sticker is what was found on this particular car. This was, of course, done Wednesday night is what we are hearing. Flying squad team caught this vehicle bearing this Punjab number plate in New Delhi. Divya.
Right, Radhika, so that car with the Punjab Sarkar or the Punjab government sticker that has been seized, cash has been recovered, as well as, like you mentioned, there were pamphlets of the Aam Aadmi Party. And the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that, not just cash but also liquor was recovered from that car. But the government there, the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi is saying that the car can't be owned by the Punjab government. The car number plate is forged, while the BJP is saying that the Aam Aadmi Party is using cash in order to win the upcoming elections. We have Gurpreet joining us to get us more on this. Of course, the war of words continues, and of course, this in the run-up to the elections that are going to be held on the 5th of February here in the national capital. Now, where exactly was this car found and what all was in there? Take us through the kind of money that's been recovered and the kind of liquor that was found in the car.
Well, we have seen this car has been caught by the cops near the Punjab Bhavan in Delhi, and after that the investigation has already been initiated by the police. At the same time, we have seen there is a long clarification which has come from the Punjab government, because what we have learned in the initial investigation, there was a number plate, a registration number belongs to Punjab and specifically in Pathankot area, and that's why the investigation has already been initiated on these lines to find out what was the real owner of this vehicle, because there was also allegation there was a sticker of Punjab government which was pasted on this vehicle when it was nabbed by the cops from there. So now what we have learned, the Punjab government has given a clarification saying that this car doesn't belong to Punjab government and it is not being hired by the Punjab government, and during the course of investigation from registration licensing authority, they have learned that this car belongs to a person who basically from a native from Maharashtra, but he was posted in a dental college in Pathankot 3 years ago. But even they are also saying the number which they have got, for registration number which they have got from this vehicle, that belongs to EcoSport, Ford EcoSport, but now the vehicle which has been recovered by the cops, that is Hyundai Creta. So it seems that the fake and forged registration number is being used, and this is the clarification which has come from Punjab Sarkar, Punjab government, because they feel there is need to put a clarity on these aspects. This car is not being hired by Punjab Sarkar, Punjab government, and it is not owned by Punjab government. So let's see what type of investigation will be carried on, and after that there will be clarity whether this is the fake registration number or not. But as of now, the Punjab government has already claimed, it seems the way they have got all the details, it seems that the fake registration number is being used by somebody to plant all these things, whether it's a cash and a liquor in the car. So we have to wait and watch for the further investigation, how it will be unfolded in the coming days. Back to studio.
And staying with news as far as Delhi elections is concerned, now Sonipat court has in fact summoned Aam Aadmi Party chief and former Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. He is to appear before the Sonipat court on the 17th of February. This is a plea about his remarks accusing the BJP government of Haryana of poisoning the Yamuna water. Now, also there was a 14-page letter, do remember, on Wednesday that Mr. Kejriwal cited the Delhi Jal Board, which maintains that the ammonia levels in the river have reached such levels that even water purification plants cannot perform at full capacity, Radhika. So, of course, it is the Haryana government taking action against those derogatory remarks. In fact, these claims that they're saying are absolutely false, Radhika, that are being made by Arvind Kejriwal. That's right. Fresh legal trouble as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned. A court has summoned him. Of course, as you were mentioning, Kejriwal replied to EC on Yamuna water contamination issue, presented facts, and he defended his remarks, saying raw water received from state recently has been highly contaminated and extremely poisonous for human health. And as we were mentioning, Arvind Kejriwal, they're responding to the Election Commission's notice, in fact, defending his stance, saying that facts prove no violation of any law or any code of conduct has been violated is something he said. He said raw water received from the state recently has been highly contaminated and extremely poisonous for human health, Divya.
That's right. So, of course, Arvind Kejriwal there saying and requesting actually the Election Commission to intervene on the major issue of the availability of safe water and pass appropriate directions as far as the state of Haryana is concerned, so that the safe quantity of water is made available as far as the citizens of Delhi are concerned. And, of course, the BJP coming down heavily on Arvind Kejriwal for those claims that he's making.
And water war intensifies in Delhi. Staying with the development on the water wars, Divya, Haryana Chief Minister now Hardeep Singh Nijjar took a couple of sips of water from river Yamuna and hit out at Aam Aadmi Party. That's right. So he did take those few sips. He has, in fact, gone on to allege that the minds of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders are definitely filled with poison, not the water that's being supplied to the national capital. Now, Arvind Kejriwal also responded to this right after, claiming that the Haryana Chief Minister only pretended to drink the water, but actually spat it back out. They want to make the people of Delhi drink the same poisonous water which they themselves cannot drink. Is how Arvind Kejriwal is reacting to the Chief Minister of Haryana, pretending is what he's saying, is he was only pretending to drink that water.
पिछले 11 साल से ये प्रधानमंत्री भी वही पानी पीता है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is wading into the Yamuna water war, which gets murkier as February 5th draws near.
दिल्ली के एक पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री ने हरियाणा के लोगों पर घिनौने आरोप लगा दिए. यमुना मैया की.
Addressing an election rally in Delhi's Gonda, Prime Minister Modi slammed AAP chief Arvind Kejriwal's toxic Yamuna water charge.
हरियाणा के लोग दिल्ली से अलग है क्या? क्या हरियाणा के लोग अपने ही बच्चों के पानी में जहर मिला सकते हैं क्या?
Narendra Modi stepped up the counter-attack, pointing to Kejriwal's failed promise to clean the Yamuna.
इन लोगों ने 3 चुनाव में यमुना जी की सफाई के नाम पर वोट मांगे. बेशर्मी है, बेईमानी है, बदनीयती है. ये दिल्ली वालों को पानी के लिए तरसाना चाहते हैं.
And a war of words continued on social media between the chief ministers of Delhi and Haryana. After Naib Singh Saini threatened a defamation suit, Delhi Chief Minister Atishi suggested to test Yamuna waters at Palla village, the point where it enters Delhi, for ammonia levels before the media. Haryana Chief Minister responded saying she was welcome on the banks of Yamuna in Palla village. He further added that there is no poison in the water coming to Delhi from Haryana, but Aam Aadmi Party's minds are definitely filled with poison.
अपनी राजनीतिक स्वार्थ सिद्धि के लिए जो केजरीवाल ने दिया है वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. मैं आज पवित्र यमुना माता के चरणों में यहाँ पर आया हूँ. आप देख भी रहे हैं, मैंने यहाँ पर पानी का, महा यमुना के उस पानी का आचमन भी किया है. एचओ जो वाटर रिसोर्स अथॉरिटी है, कल यहाँ के सैंपल लिए हैं. जो पानी के सैंपल थे उसमें कहीं कोई जहर की मात्रा नहीं है.
ये बेहद दुखद है कि पानी जैसे सेंसिटिव मामले पर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी खुद राजनीति कर रहे हैं. ये हरियाणा सरकार, ये भाजपा सरकार इतनी विंडिक्टिव है कि अपनी ऐतिहासिक हार देखकर दिल्ली में वो अब इन हरकतों पे उतारू है कि दिल्ली के लोग अगर बीमार हो जाएंगे तो ब्लेम स्क्वेयरली अरविंद केजरीवाल जी पर फॉल करेगा.
Meanwhile, Haryana government has filed a case against the former chief minister for spreading panic amongst citizens.
The Congress too dived into the water wars. It promised to clean the Yamuna to the point that not only Kejriwal but also Chhat devotees can take a holy dip in it. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi tore into Kejriwal for making false promises.
यमुना में मैं स्नान करूंगा और यमुना जी का पानी पीऊंगा. 5 साल हो गए, आज तक केजरीवाल जी ने यमुना का पानी नहीं पिया है. करोड़ों रुपए के मकान में रहते हैं, साफ सुथरा पानी पीते हैं और आपको झूठे बयान करते हैं.
Delhi's election campaign has turned as toxic as the foam that floats on the Yamuna River. Arvind Kejriwal's stunning claims have been met with vehement retorts from the BJP brass. Dramatic developments have happened, and now the question remains that after this, on which way will the political tide turn on February 8th in the capital city? Now with camera person Prem Singh, this is Ishka Verma for NDTV.
And in the run-up to the elections here in the national capital on the 5th of February, and counting will take place on the 8th of February, just a few days to go. Let's just get you more on the candidates that are in the fray. We're talking about O.P. Sharma, and he is, running from as far as the seat of Vishwasnagar here in the national capital is concerned. The BJP, they're trusting O.P. Sharma to beat the Aam Aadmi Party this time around. Radhika. That's right. The big question really is, can he take on Aam Aadmi Party and retain this seat once again? Does Delhi have Vishwas in BJP? We will find out. O.P. Sharma, BJP candidate from Vishwasnagar, joining us. Now, let's just also ask him as to what is it the voters here in the national capital really want, and what is the plan of the BJP when it comes, as far as can he really take on the Aam Aadmi Party and retain the seat? That is the big question, sir. How would you respond to the people in Delhi? What is it that they really want, and what kind of change are they looking for?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक एक कार्यकर्ता और सभी समर्थक पूरे उत्साह और उमंग के साथ चुनाव के समर में उतर चुके हैं, और आने वाली 5 तारीख के बाद दिल्ली में भाजपा का मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा, और दिल्ली में जैसी दिल्ली हम चाहते हैं, गर्व करने वाली दिल्ली का निर्माण में हम सब लोग सहभागी बनेंगे।
Right. Will the BJP manage to form government this time around? What are the lessons that perhaps they've learned as far as the BJP is concerned over the last 2 terms?
देखिए, चीफ मिनिस्टर किसी के पास नहीं है। केजरीवाल जी को कोर्ट ने कहा है कि वो ना तो ऑफिस जा सकते ना साइन कर सकते, तो इसलिए ये गिमिक है। हमारे यहाँ जब हम जीतेंगे, हमारी मीटिंग होगी विधायक दल की, और उसमें जो नेता चुना जाएगा वो सीएम निश्चित रूप से बनेगा। और रहा सवाल दिल्ली के चुनाव का, तो दिल्ली के चुनाव में आज पूरी दिल्ली में पीने के पानी में सीवर का पानी मिक्स हो रहा है। हवा में 5-5 बार दिल्ली के अंदर ग्रेप लगने से हवा जहरीली है, जमुना जहरीली है, शराब की नदियां बही हुई हैं, भ्रष्टाचार चरम सीमा पर है। जो केजरीवाल जी सुचिता के नाम पे भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त दिल्ली को लंदन पेरिस बनाने की बात करते थे, आज वो शराब आबकारी के मामले में दिल्ली की तिहाड़ जेल जा चुके हैं, और तिहाड़ जेल से निकलते ही वो अपने आप को स्वयंभू घोषित करते हैं कि वो अब शहीद भगत सिंह के समकक्ष हो गए हैं। तो इनकी इस तरह की बातों से आज दिल्ली परेशान है। भ्रष्टाचार सरकार में या सरकार में भ्रष्टाचार है। आज हर डिपार्टमेंट भ्रष्टाचार से चरम सीमा पर है। 72,000 करोड़ का वाटर सप्लाई में भ्रष्टाचार है। कोई नाला या पानी की पाइप टूट जाए, 50,000 रुपये का काम भी दिल्ली जल बोर्ड कराने में असमर्थ है। दवाइयाँ नकली हैं, स्कूलों के अंदर कमरे बनाने में भ्रष्टाचार है, ट्रांसपोर्ट में भ्रष्टाचार है, हॉस्पिटल में भ्रष्टाचार है, स्कूलों में कमरे बनाने चारों तरफ भ्रष्टाचार ही भ्रष्टाचार है। और केजरीवाल जी केवल झूठ बोलते हैं, टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग के साथ खड़े होते हैं, पाकिस्तान की भाषा बोलते हैं, और कनाडा में जाके जो खालिस्तानी आतंकवादी उनके साथ सांठगांठ करते हैं। तो ऐसे केजरीवाल की आज कलई उतर चुकी है, और दिल्ली की जनता इस कलंकित केजरीवाल से आज छुटकारा पाने के लिए बेताब है।
O.P. Sharma सर, ये बताइए कि बीजेपी इस बारी क्या करेगी in order to woo the voters? आप कहते हैं कि बीजेपी is going to bring about a change. What is it that the Aam Aadmi Party hasn't done over the last 2 terms that the BJP is going to be cashing upon?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड रहा है, वो लोगों के प्रति संवेदनशील है। जिन जिन राज्यों में हमारी सरकार है, हमारा विकास का मॉडल है, चाहे वो गुजरात हो, चाहे मध्य प्रदेश हो, चाहे अब हम राजस्थान में काम कर रहे हैं, देश की अनेक जगहों पर मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी जनता की जो उम्मीदें हैं उनके ऊपर खरी उतर रही है और हम सब लोग मिलकर दिल्ली को संवारने का एक सपना जो हम देख रहे हैं, हम लोग सत्ता में आएंगे तो निश्चित रूप से हम इस कार्य को पूरे उत्साह और उमंग के साथ करेंगे।
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with us. O.P. Sharma, there of the BJP, taking on the Aam Aadmi Party in the elections coming up in the national capital.
All right, let's get you some breaking updates. This is from the U.S. A passenger aircraft has crashed in the U.S. Divya, this is a small aircraft that crashed in U.S. near Washington, D.C. In fact, this crashes into a river. And we believe that the flight operations for now have been halted here.
That's right. Breaking news coming in as far as this plane is concerned. It has crashed near the Reagan National Airport. That is what we are hearing. From what we are hearing is that this was a plane inbound from Kansas. It was involved in a crash that's taken place. This is the latest. A passenger aircraft crashed into the river. This is the Potomac River near the Reagan National Airport just outside of Washington, D.C. after it collided mid-air with a helicopter as it approached the runway, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. The plane was the American Airlines, and it departed from Kansas early on Wednesday, and after takeoff, and this was an emergency situation where it crashed because it collided with a helicopter. We have Vishal joining us to get us more on this. Vishal, how in the world does this happen that an aircraft that had taken off from Kansas, crashes with a helicopter mid-air, and that resulted in this crash that's taken place very close to Washington, D.C.?
So these are still early reports coming in. So these reports indicate that the collision happened mid-air, and the reports are also saying that it's an American Airlines aircraft which collided with a Black Hawk helicopter. So it should be noted that Black Hawks are generally used by the US military. The police department of the city has already said that its helicopter was not involved in the crash. So it remains to be seen which department the helicopter belonged to, but so far we can confirm that this collision has happened mid-air, and so far there are no reports of any casualties, but it's still early minutes of the story, so we'll have to wait for confirmation on that. But these are some really ghastly pictures coming in that show that the aircraft is exploding mid-air, which indicates that there was indeed a collision mid-air, and that happened as the aircraft was approaching the runway for landing. So it remains to be seen what kind of engine was involved, how big the plane is. So far the reports are saying that it's a smaller plane, so which means the casualties could be smaller in number, but nonetheless it's a passenger aircraft. There could be dozens involved, because small planes can also carry dozens of people. So all of that will have to be answered in the next few minutes, but so far we can confirm that the crash has indeed happened near the Washington D.C., the capital of the US, and it remains to be seen what kind of helicopter was involved in the crash.
All right. Thank you, Vishal, for getting us those details. Initial reports, of course, confirming the crash, but we don't know how many people were in that aircraft and whether there are any casualties at this point. We'll keep coming back to you, but let's move on now, staying with political news. Chandigarh mayoral poll is set to witness a keen contest between the BJP and Aam Aadmi Party Congress alliance, Divya, in the 35-member house of Chandigarh MC. The Aam Aadmi Party has 13 councillors and its ally Congress has 6. Meanwhile, BJP has 16 councillors.
Right, of course, this Radhika, with the contest between the Aam Aadmi Party's Premlata and Bharatiya Janata Party's Harpreet Babla has turned intense, with the BJP hoping for cross-voting in the polls. The senior deputy mayor and the deputy mayor will also be elected from amongst the councillors. Mayor's tenure in Chandigarh lasts for about a year, and this time the seat is reserved for a woman councillor. And let's just go across to Gurpreet to get us more on this. So Gurpreet, the term as far as the mayor is concerned will last for a year, and the seat seems to be reserved for a woman councillor this time around.
Well, yes, it's a high-stake election which is going to be happen today in Chandigarh. And last time we have seen a lot of chaos has happened, and this matter specifically that mayor poll has reached to the apex court. This time we have seen all the precautions are being taken by the local administration, and Supreme Court has already appointed Justice Jayashri Thakur to monitor each and everything here. Last time we have seen there was some manipulation on the ballot paper and forging of ballot paper. There was a serious allegation against the Chandigarh administration, and for that we have seen in the apex court this Aam Aadmi Party and Congress that the mayor has been announced there. No, this time they have taken all the precaution, but for the last so many days we have seen a lot of political happening on the ground, because they are trying to get votes from each and other councillor, and the cross voting is also one of the main reasons why the BJP as well as the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, they are trying to hold their councillor within their own ambit so that there should not be cross voting. A few minutes back we have learned the Chandigarh mayor is also facing a very serious allegation for providing job to one of the youngster here in Chandigarh, and FIR has already been lodged. Now the question if the mayor is going to cast his vote or not, that is the one of the main curiosity at this point of time. As of now, if we can talk about the political calculation, we all understand BJP has 16 votes, and whereas Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Congress, they have 20 votes, 19 votes from the councillor and 1 vote that is from the member parliament of Chandigarh. So let's see that what type of result will be coming out, but it's a high stake election which is happening in Chandigarh. Back to studio.
All right, so high stakes battle there as far as mayoral polls is concerned, and retired High Court judge to be an observer as per orders of the Supreme Court. Thank you for getting us those details, Gurpreet. With that, we'll slip into a short break. We have more updates on the other side.
Right, there are lots coming up as far as that big budget day that's coming up on the 1st of Feb, an all-party meeting to take place today. That and a whole lot more on the other side.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Actor of the Year. By the way, my dear friends, you know, probably I am one of the first ones in the history of NDTV to have this rare, proud honor of announcing and honoring as in the place of a real hero to a reel of my own movie, Shrikant. Without a further ado, with great admiration, love and due respect, the best actor of the year goes to Shri Rajkumar Rao. Please come on to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rajkumar Rao's versatility, dedication to meaningful cinema, and consistent delivery of powerful performances continued in 2024. His recent roles in Shrikant, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Stree 2 and Wiki Vidya Ka Wo Wala video showcases his deep commitment to his craft, often transforming himself physically and emotionally to suit the character's demands, making Rajkumar Rao the NDTV Actor of 2024.
जोरदार तालियां राजकुमार के लिए। भाई हम सबके दिलों के राजकुमार।
Welcome back. A big budget day on Feb 1 ahead of the budget session, which is starting on Jan 31. The government has now called a meeting of all political party leaders to ensure smooth session and to ensure the session runs smoothly. So an all-party meeting today, Divya.
That's right. The session will open with President Draupadi Murmu's address to a joint sitting of both houses in the Lok Sabha chamber. Now, the budget session of the parliament will begin tomorrow, the 31st of January, and it will end on the 4th of April with the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman there presenting the budget on the 1st of February. And to know more on this, we have Sunil Prabhu joining us. Sunil, who all are going to be part of that all-party meeting coming up today?
All political parties, all those who are, have been elected and voted to power in and part of the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha, they will be represented. And this is an all-party meeting, which is basically a convention where the government lists its agendas and the opposition puts its points forward, and everybody promises a productive session. Ultimately, we have to wait and see how things play out on the ground. There have been a number of occasions when things haven't really gone that well. It's in that backdrop today that the government has set its agenda loud and clear about the fact that not only with, as you rightly said, the presidential address, which is mandatory as per the Constitution of India, in the first calendar year date, the president addresses both houses of parliament, which will then be thanked, occasion for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to speak before he leaves for Paris. So he's expected to reply to that address, as well as various other political leaders, from opposition leaders, the leader of opposition in both houses, to reply to that motion of thanks to the president. Having said that, as you rightly said, it's the important budget, a budget where really doesn't have too much of, implications in terms of elections. So hopefully many people are looking forward to a lot of change. What we have been told by our sources is that a major reform in terms of the direct tax code, as well as linking it with the wealth tax, as well as the gift tax, all those things will be included. So it's definitely going to be an important budget session where people will be able to discuss and look at how their future lies ahead, especially with the economy not really improving in terms of growth.
Right, certainly. Thank you, Sunil, for getting us those details. So, all-party meeting today, budget session to begin on Jan 31, and of course, Union Finance Minister to present the budget on February 1. We'll get you all those details when that happens. And let's move on now. This is to do with the pollution issue in Delhi. So we're back to pollution story. Divya, the centre's panel on Delhi NCR's air quality on Wednesday, invoking curbs under stage 3 of GRAP amid a sharp rise in pollution due to unfavorable Met conditions. And the air quality in Delhi, I believe, has declined sharply amid calm winds and smoggy situation, Divya.
That's right. Visibly, one could see that smog early this morning driving to work. The fog situation is back, and GRAP 3 measures are also back, which basically means that there's a ban on essential construction work. Classes up to grade 5 are required to shift to hybrid mode under stage 3. And parents and students have now the option to choose online education wherever available. And to know more on this, we have Anushka joining us from the India Gate this morning. Anushka, just pan the camera for us and show us how bad it is this morning. Of course, it was pretty bad a few hours ago. Has it improved? And what is the pollution figure that is coming out this morning as far as the national capital on the whole is concerned? Take us through, the fog making a comeback and pollution making a comeback, and what really does the forecast really hold in terms of the next few days?
Well, certainly, Radhika, we're at the India Gate, and I like to ask my camera person to pan the camera and show you the visuals from India Gate. It can clearly be seen that the pollution situation has clearly impacted the visibility. Now, according to IMD, the visibility recorded today is around 800 meters. Now, this is the update of 8 a.m. in the morning, and now this is likely to impact the airlines and also the railways, because what we are seeing is that a thick layer of fog has once again engulfed the national capital. The AQI that is recorded today at 6 a.m. in the morning is 381. Now, this is at the higher end of very poor category, and also it is expected to deteriorate soon. Now, we are also seeing that the IMD has predicted that the AQI can go to severe, equality, and also what we are seeing is that the temperatures has also been affected. Now, in the morning, the temperature recorded at the Safdarjung station is around 9 degrees Celsius, and also we are showing you the visuals. The cars and every vehicle that is passing the road is in fact right now also using the headlight and tail light for better visibility. Also, the IMD is predicting that in the coming days there will be partly cloudy sky and smog situation could continue for in fact 31st of January, and at the end of this whole January we are also seeing that the IMD has predicted that the AQI will deteriorate further. And also what we are seeing is that several restrictions have been put in place now for the people who are living in Delhi NCR. The BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel vehicles have been banned. Also construction and demolition activities are banned, and also several of the people who are working, their offices could go to work from home mode, and also they can switch to hybrid mode because of the pollution situation that can be seen in Delhi NCR. Over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Anushka, for joining us with all those details. And let's just switch tracks from Delhi now, Radhika, over to Mumbai regarding the pollution situation. And it's actor and environmentalist Diya Mirza who expressed her concern as far as Mumbai's deteriorating air quality is concerned. She's in fact urged the Maharashtra Chief Minister as well to take immediate actions, appealing to the Chief Minister to really, solve the problem, which seems to be now escalating in Mumbai as well. That's right. In fact, she's been advocating for clean air for quite some time in the city of Mumbai. Now she's appealed to the Chief Minister as a mother to address this matter with empathy and urgency of a parent. And speaking to NDTV, she said citizens should help out as well to keep the air clean while holding government accountable. Abira speaks to the actor. Let's listen in.
She's an actor and an environmentalist, but bigger than that, she's just like us, a Mumbaikar, and like me, a mother who is very worried because what we are seeing, the air quality is dropping every day in Mumbai. First, it used to be a concern that we used to have because we used to talk to Delhi people. Yeah. They had a huge concern. But here we are in Mumbai and worried.
I think the primary identity at this point is that of a mother. And I speak for every parent in the city and for every parent across the country who's dealing with very, very poor air quality. Abira, it's a misnomer, it's a fallacy that people think that Delhi is the most polluted. We are, out of the 21 most polluted cities in the world, 14 are in India. Mumbai and Delhi happen to be one of those 14. So that's the first, I think, misconception we should all get rid of. If you look at the data in the last decade, the air quality has been suffering. And it's been getting worse and worse with every year. And there are in fact many days of the year where the AQI is worse in Mumbai than it is even in Delhi. The point is that right now almost all of Mumbai is under construction. Practically all of our roads are under some kind of road works. There's some work happening. So of course there's stormwater drain work happening. The pipes are being replaced. The water pipes are being replaced. That involves digging up the roads and, the debris is lying open, the wind is carrying it. Apart from that, most construction sites don't follow the norms and the rules and the guidelines. I work very closely with the BMC, the municipal corporation, and I know for a fact that there are guidelines, there are strategies that have been shared with the wards. Where is the gap? Where is the problem? I think the problem lies in the fact that no one takes their health and the health of their families seriously enough. Nobody is recognizing that our health, our well-being, our lifespan is being shortened by the pollution. What is even more important is that we need a long-term plan. We need a 20-25 year plan because we are not going to stop constructing. We are not going to stop burning. Hopefully we will. Someday, and hopefully by law, we have constitutionally guaranteed the right to life. And if the right to breathe clean air is not connected to the fundamental right to life, I don't know what is.
So you reached out to the CM of Maharashtra. You said that we need to do something about it. Has there any response there?
No, there's been no response. And Twitter's mainly a platform of trolls, and anyone who speaks up about any problem is only met with whataboutery and vitriol and hate. I don't care about him responding to my tweet. What I do care about is how can we as citizens come together and mobilize more action and better participation to see that change. So my entire road outside the house is under construction. It's completely dug up. My mother has COPD. My son has developed asthma. My daughter is 16 and asthmatic. She's grown up in the city. These are real issues. And every second week, somebody is getting a high fever and a throat infection. And these are realities that we are all confronted with. What are we going to do to change that? How can we make a difference? I think the first thing that we can do is to appeal to the conscience of our policymakers and our governments, and alongside that, keep engaging with each other, with the authorities, and ensure that some action is taken.
What are the 3 things that we can do as citizens to take care of this pollution that's increasing every day?
I think the most immediate thing that I can think of that can impact serious change is segregation of waste and composting waste at home, something that we do. And of course, I would say walk more, but I can't right now. You know, it's again it's a health hazard. Yes, please wear a mask. You saw me entering my building wearing my mask. I feel absolutely no embarrassment in wearing a mask. I think it's the basic bare minimum we all need to do to protect our lungs and our health, because the dust levels are, you know, really bad, and the only way we can all help ourselves at least a little is by wearing a mask. Avyan is always wearing a mask when he's outdoors. Until we all recognize how deeply connected our health is with the health of our environment, we are not going to change anything.
Thank you so much, Dia.
The Amirs are there advocating on clean air and the measures that can be taken, and asking for the citizens also to help out in order to ensure that they are not contributing to the pollution. Switching tracks now, a report by a Canadian commission looking into the alleged foreign interference in its electoral processes and democratic institutions said that there's no definite link with the foreign state in the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar that has been proven. Now, do remember in September of 2023, it was Justin Trudeau who claimed that Canada had credible evidence that Indian agents were involved in the murder of Nijjar in British Columbia. Radhika. That's right. Nijjar, a Canadian citizen, was killed in Vancouver in June 2023, kickstarting a diplomatic crisis after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused agents of India being involved. However, now the report suggesting while India may have spread disinformation following Trudeau's claims, no conclusive foreign link to the killing was established. Maha Siddiqui gets us the details.
This is the Hague Commission report, the Commissioner report rather, wherein 100 witnesses' testimony was recorded over a period of 16 months. And this followed a report by the intelligence agency that had in fact put out some startling comments, and one was with regards to the foreign interference, alleging that there was from India as well, to which now the Hague Commission report that is now out has clearly mentioned that there is no definitive link to any foreign state that could be proven. However, this is unlikely as we see it from here at the moment to improve the ties between India and Canada over this issue specifically. This is because the same report in a later part where it discusses in detail the Hardeep Singh Nijjar killing and the aftermath of that in terms of the diplomatic relationship between India and Canada, says that the terms of reference for this report did not allow them to go into transnational repression of Canada, and that it gives the government the leeway, in fact, to respond to any such situation based on the realities that they have basis other reports as well. So in this case, and if you read the entire report, even though at one part it clearly says that no definitive link was proven to any foreign nation, any foreign state, but on the other hand, still giving the leeway to the government to act on other reports as well. And the report that we will mention here is the report by the RCMP, that is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, that had also given a report. One of the elements of the report had suggested persons of interest in this case, specifically the Hardeep Singh Nijjar killing, basis which Canada had expelled 6 Indian diplomats, and in response, India had done the same with Canada.
Let's move on now. DeepSeek shakes up AI race. Divya, in fact, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Wednesday said it's too early to tell what impact DeepSeek's breakthrough AI model will have on his company and the broader tech industry. Still, Zuckerberg poured cold water on the notion that Meta's overall AI spend will soon drop, now that DeepSeek has allegedly proven that cutting-edge AI requires far less money and computing resources than previously thought.
Right, he's gone on to say it's probably too early to really have a strong opinion on what this means for the trajectory around the infrastructure and capex. So now there are a bunch of trends that are happening here all at once, is what Zuckerberg had to really say. And basically, this is something that needs more time in order to know what's really going to happen going forward. And to know some details on this, we have our colleague Arjun joining us.
And when a game-changing AI developed in China's Hangzhou is shaking up global tech landscape, it is called DeepSeek. Founded in 2023 by seasoned entrepreneur and engineer Liang Wenfang, the company has unleashed the DeepSeek V3 model. Well, it's an advanced open-source AI designed to mimic human thinking, setting it apart from other AI systems. Now, what's jaw-dropping is that this cutting technology model was developed for less than $6 million. It's less than a fraction of what competitors have been using. Not only this, the system also operates in a fraction of what similar models in the US would cost in today's date. However, its biggest appeal is the open source approach, which allows developers to build on DeepSeek's technology. And not so surprisingly, DeepSeek's sudden rise has sent shockwaves through the US markets. DeepSeek's competitors, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, and Alphabet are all feeling the heat. In fact, NVIDIA, who's the leader in AI-driven semiconductor, has been hit the hardest, but other big names, mind you, are not far behind. OpenAI, known for its ChatGPT models, and tech behemoths like Microsoft and Alphabet are all facing pressure of being outpaced by a low-cost Chinese AI model that's making literally wave around the US market. Now, there are also growing concerns over user data and privacy concerns, especially with the company's origin being in China. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has already weighed in, calling the release of DeepSeek a quote-unquote a wake-up call for US industries to refocus on winning the AI race.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, career, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Now we move on to the next category, which is the Youth Icon of the Year. And for this, मैं एक बार फिर से request करूँगी आशा पारेख जी का स्टेज पर आने के लिए, और साथ ही invite करेंगे मयंक अग्रवाल जी को, CEO Gallant Group of Industries, to join us on stage for this next category of awards.
Ananya Pandey.
Congratulations, Ananya. And Ananya Pandey, actor, is getting this award for her advocacy work on combating cyberbullying, growing achievements in the film industry, and strong influence on social media. And that's what makes Ananya Pandey NDTV Youth Icon of the Year 2024. She represents a blend of modern values, relatability, and a commitment to meaningful causes, which are essential qualities for inspiring today's youth.
Congratulations, very many
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank
And
you.
Ananya, there are just a few questions for
Yes.
you. You've, diverse characters, and you've made a shift from big screen to OTT. Big superstars have done their shift. What is your opinion on that, and what's your next move?
Firstly, I just want to thank NDTV for this award. It's truly very, very humbling, and to get it from Asha Parekh ji, I'm such a big fan of your work, so this is a pinch me moment for sure. I don't believe any screen is too big or small. It's a screen at the end of the day, and the world is developing so fast. There's so many changes that are being made, so I think we're all just keeping up with the times.
Ananya, the fact is that 2024, this year has been phenomenal for you. One success after another. Kahan Kho Gaye Hum, Call Me Bae, CTRL. How does it feel to have multiple successes in one single year?
It's really a dream come true.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Valva from the national capital, Delhi, and we also have Radhika Ramaswamy joining us from Mumbai. We have news coming in of a passenger aircraft that's crashed into a river near the Washington, D.C. airport. This after it collided mid-air with a helicopter as it approached the runway. This crash has taken place in the United States, but we also have news coming in as far as Prayagraj is concerned, with now new measures, Radhika, that have come into place. That is what the UP government now has decided to have certain restrictions, especially during the Mahakumbh for the remaining days, which is going to continue till the 26th of February. Absolutely, aircraft crash in the US. We'll get you all the updates on that and all the latest from Prayagraj, as you said, after stampede killed 30 people. And also Delhi pollution returns, restrictions reimposed once again in the national capital. But first, the headlines. Aircraft crashes near Washington, D.C. Passenger aircraft collides with a helicopter. After 30 people have died and 60 others have been injured in the stampede that unfolded at the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj on Wednesday morning. Now, no VVIP passes will be allowed. A one-way route is what the new government measures that are now kicking in as far as the VVIP passes are concerned. Those have been cancelled. There's strict restriction in place, and now it will be a no-vehicle zone is what the government of UP has decided. And on Kumbh's stampede, questions over security lapses. Did officials fail to anticipate crowd surge? UP government saying prompt action saved many lives. And let's just get you the latest as far as Meta's CEO. We're talking about Mark Zuckerberg shrugging off a DeepSeek, saying that Meta won't cut down as far as spending on AI is concerned. You remember, DeepSeek has resulted in quite a traction when it came to tumbling the markets because of that new launch by this Chinese AI company. After months of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegation of India's involvement in killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian Commission report has concluded that there is no definitive link to a foreign state in the Nijjar killing. let's just get you our top story, and this is in regard to a passenger aircraft that has collided mid-air. This aircraft has collided with a helicopter in the United States, very close to the airport of Washington, D.C. It crashed into a river, the Potomac River, near the Reagan National Airport, just outside of Washington, D.C. It collided with the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter as it approached the runway. That is the latest that we have for you. Breaking news coming in regard to a crash that's taken place, Radhika, in the United States. That's right, a passenger jet and military helicopter colliding near Reagan National Airport. In fact, regional jet there colliding with the chopper. Takeoffs and landings, we believe, at Reagan National Airport has been halted at this point, and we are still awaiting information as to how many people were in that particular passenger aircraft. So for more on this, let's go straight across to Vishal. Vishal, a tragic incident there taking place, but do we have more information on whether there were people inside that particular jet, inside that particular aircraft, and how many passengers were there? Any information on casualties? What we are hearing is that takeoffs and landings at the airports have been halted.
Yes, that is correct. So far there's no information on the number of casualties, but some reports suggest that there could be as many as 60 passengers on board the small plane which collided with a military aircraft, a Black Hawk aircraft. The police department had already said that the helicopter does not belong to that department. It's most likely a military aircraft. So what I have here is an image tweeted by the Flight Radar website. They have just shown which aircraft it was. So you can see that the aircraft was traveling from Wichita to Washington when it crashed midair, and you can see here in the graphics that the aircraft is lying right in the middle of both the areas. So this is apparently the river, Potomac River, where the aircraft has crashed after colliding with the helicopter midair. It's a JIA 5342 airline, American airline aircraft, and there could have been, as I mentioned, 60 passengers on board. There's no confirmation as to how many people have been killed or how many have been injured, but so far the reports are saying that it could be a gruesome picture that could be painted in the next few hours. So far, as I mentioned, this is the area, this is the outskirts of Washington, and the airport, Reagan International Airport, is what is involved in this incident, and the aircraft has crashed in this area. And as I mentioned, it's an American Airlines aircraft, and so far there's no information as to is there any foul play or is there any other angle to it. So all of that will come into picture later, but so far we can confirm that the aircraft has indeed crashed with probably dozens of people on board, and the authorities of various departments in the city are involved in the initial investigation, and as soon as the reports come in, we'll give you the latest. But so far we can confirm that this gruesome incident has indeed happened. How did this happen? How did the Black Hawk aircraft, which is a military aircraft, manage to collide with the passenger aircraft mid-air? That is the biggest question that needs to be answered, because these communications are handled by various departments, and how did this air traffic control not figure this out, or was there any blackout in terms of the signal? All of that will have to be answered, but so far we have to be sure that this aircraft has indeed crashed, and we don't know how many people have been killed, but we can confirm that it has indeed crashed.
Right, Vishal, there are no confirmed casualties at this point in time. Of course, this was an American Airlines flight 5342. Like you mentioned, had 60 passengers, including 4 crew members on board that departed from Kansas, according to the airlines. The White House has, of course, now confirmed that a military helicopter was involved in the incident. The American Airlines crashed very close to the Washington, D.C., and this has taken place while it was about to make a landing and it was approaching the runway, Vishal.
That is correct. So that is what the initial reports are saying. The aircraft had flown from Wichita, which is in Kansas, one of the 50 states of the U.S., and it was supposed to land in Washington, D.C., the capital of the U.S., but as soon as it approached the runway, there was an incoming helicopter, and U.S. military helicopter, that apparently collided with the aircraft mid-air, and initial reports are suggesting that it's a small plane nonetheless, but it carries at least 64 people. That's what the reports are saying. So we'll have to wait and watch what kind of injuries are there, how many people have been killed. So all of that will come into the picture later. But for now, we have confirmation on the crash. It happened around 9 p.m. local time, Washington, D.C. And it was about an hour and a half ago. So far, that's what the confirmation is. The Vice President of the U.S., J.D. Vance, has also issued a statement saying that the administration of the U.S. is monitoring the situation and helping people in need. So far, the concerned authorities of Federal Aviation Administration, the American Airlines, they've all issued statements saying that they are aware of the incident and they are trying the best to, give out the information and help the people in need. So that all of that will come into picture when the reports come in.
Right. While details about the incident remain limited, but rescue and recovery efforts are underway as officials work to assess the situation. Radhika. That's right. In fact, to give us more information on what exactly is happening as far as the search and rescue operations are concerned, let's go straight across to Nick Harper, who's joining us from Washington. Nick, this is of course a tragic incident that has taken place, a passenger jet colliding with a military helicopter. Take us through what exactly happened and what is the kind of search and rescue that's going on, and do we have any information on how many passengers were there in that particular aircraft?
There are still plenty of unknowns in this situation and really only a few knowns. What is known and what has been confirmed by the White House, the press secretary Caroline Leavitt saying that Donald Trump had been briefed, and also confirming that a helicopter crashed with a small aircraft, an aircraft that has the capacity to take about 70 passengers in total. We're told there were 60 on board plus 4 crew members at the time. And some videos captured by CCTV cameras surrounding the airport seem to show the moment of the crash, when the helicopter and that plane struck one another. Something of a fireball lights up the sky before it goes dark. So it's unclear exactly what happened after that moment, after the two collided. But we do know that search and rescue teams, and dozens of them, are on site and searching the Potomac River that borders the Ronald Reagan Airport just outside of Washington, D.C. They are searching the water. The thinking is that both the helicopter and that small plane ended up in the river, and therefore there is significant concern about those 60 passengers and 4 crew. We have not yet had any confirmations of any casualties nor fatalities, but there is a significant concern. It's dark, it's difficult to search at this time of night, and it has also dipped below freezing. It's coming up for 11 p.m. here, Washington time. It's considerably windy this evening, very cold temperatures, and of course, any time that anybody spends in that water, the freezing temperatures of the Potomac will make it much harder when it comes to life-saving situations. So we're waiting more information, but we do know that there is a tremendous search and rescue operation now underway at the scene of Ronald Reagan Airport.
We also have Vishnu Som, our colleague, joining us. Vishnu, the question being, have the plane which collided in mid-air, had it crashed on ground as opposed to crashing into the river?
Well, let me just come in quickly and give you a couple of important details that we've got coming in at this stage. Now, this is information coming in from the US regulator, the FAA, which says that the American Airlines Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet collided mid-air with the Sikorsky 860 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. local time. The PSA was operating as Flight 53424 American Airlines. It had departed from Wichita, Kansas. The Federal Aviation Authority and the NTSB will investigate. The National Transport Safety Board will investigate the investigation, and they will provide updates as information comes in. I was tracking this flight very closely over the last while on Flight Radar 24, and the data which Flight Radar has, and which the authenticity of that has been established by the FAA, the American regulator, is that the aircraft was approximately 300 feet above the ground, which would have made it moments before touching down when this mid-air collision, which you see on your screen, took place. It is extremely cold now in Washington, as Nick would have been explaining. as a result of which, search operations would be that much more desperate. Let me go back to Nick at this stage. Nick, we've got this confirmation from the US administrator, the FAA, a flight from Wichita, Kansas. It was flight 5342. It was PSA operating as 5342 for American Airlines, a small aircraft, a CRJ 700. It's a regional jet. Could you give us an idea of the rescue operations taking place at the moment? All right, we'll come back to Nick in just a moment from now, but let me share a few more details of this as we see this footage, which is now coming in. Just about 300 feet off the ground, the airspeed was relatively low at that stage. The CRJ aircraft, which was involved in this particular in the incident, a Bombardier CRJ 700. It's an aircraft made in Canada, one of the most commonly used regional jetliners anywhere in the world, certainly used extensively in the United States, operating for American Airlines, which I believe is the largest airline in the world. This was a flight from Wichita in Kansas. It was just moments from touching down at the Reagan International Airport in Washington. It was 9 p.m. local time when the incident that you see on your screen took place. There was an 860 helicopter, which is a military helicopter. In most cases, it can be configured for civilian use as well. This juncture, we don't know if this was a military helicopter or an 860 being used by a civilian operator. Just putting it out there that the 860 is used primarily by military forces. The incident took place at 9 p.m. local time. The aircraft was on its final approach. This was very sad that this incident has taken place. And we are getting more information progressively as it comes in. This is AA5342, which is the number of the airline which was operating. There was a collision with a helicopter over the Potomac River. I remember several decades back another fatal incident having taken place, that also in cold conditions over the Potomac River. But be that as it may, just in terms of a few more details of this particular flight from Wichita, it was scheduled to depart at 5:18 p.m. local time. The actual time of departure was 5:38 p.m. local time. It was scheduled to land at 9:03 p.m. local time, but at about 9 p.m. Local time, this aircraft had a mid-air collision. It's been confirmed with a helicopter, the 860. The aircraft, which went down with 60-odd passengers on board, we don't have a final number of those who were on board, was a CRJ 701ER aircraft. It's been made by Bombardier and Mitsubishi. It was a 20-year-old aircraft. Now, the airspace in this particular area, flights coming into Washington, one of the heaviest anywhere in the world, very, very closely regulated airspace, air traffic control operating very, very closely over here. All aircraft over there would be using their own sensors and their own signals to actually let others know about their relative presence in the skies. All aircraft would be squawking. That's the term which is used to indicate that their transponders were on, therefore their position was known. There'd be primary radar and secondary radar, which would be monitoring airspace or working, as per their relative functions. But I think the video that you see on your screen, it's pretty horrific. You can see literally the helicopter, sort of flying in to that CRJ aircraft, the Bombardier manufactured aircraft of American Airlines. So very, very tragic indeed. The weather conditions in over the Potomac would be, and over Washington itself at this juncture would be very, very cold. We can now confirm that the jet was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, so 64 on board. The CRJ that would be close to full capacity with that particular configuration. We've got several reactions also coming at this stage. Several congressmen also reacting. Ro Khanna, for example, saying that it's absolutely heartbreaking. My heart is with all those involved and their loved ones. Thank you to the first responders out there now conducting search and rescue missions. Now, we do not know about anybody who survived this crash at this juncture. We can only hope and pray that that is something that is taking place. But once again, FAA, the US regulator there, their aviation watchdog, is confirming that a PSA Airlines Bombardier CRJ 700 regional jet collided midair with a Sikorsky 860 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan International Airport. PSA, right, this carrier was operating as Flight 53424 for American Airlines. So this is designated as an American Airlines flight, which had departed from Wichita in Kansas. So that's the information that we have at this juncture. We're trying to get more details. Now, the airfield, I should mention Washington Airport, one of the busiest in the world, has been closed until further notice. So let's have that out as breaking news, is that the airfield has been closed until further notice, until such time as more details of this incident come in. There are several other helicopters involved in the search and rescue operation, which are also involved. Now, a little bit more in terms of technical information. The app Flight Radar 24 actually helps us track all flights which are under its surveillance based on the data that the aircraft shares. Flight Radar 24 says that the helicopter which was involved in this midair was not broadcasting ADSB data.
Right.
ADSB data is very specific data which enables spotters, air traffic control, other aircraft to know about the exact location of the aircraft. For whatever the reason was, the ADSB data of this helicopter was not broadcasting. So this being a problem in terms of getting a precise
Vishnu, you're
fix.
giving us some very important details there. Unfortunately, we are not able to get Nick back. But I just wanted to ask you, the airport said emergency personnel were responding to an aircraft incident on the airfield. Of course, search and rescue operations are on, but do we know who are the agencies that have been activated to conduct the rescue operations? What kind of alert may have been issued? You just said airfield has been closed under further notice. So what are some of the alerts that have been issued at this point, Vishnu?
So at Reagan Airport, and I'm just going through what they've tweeted out a little while back, 7:42 local time. So these were the first reports about an hour back. All takeoffs and landings have been halted at the airport. Emergency personnel are responding to an aircraft incident on the airfield. The terminal remains open and that they will update the situation. Now, the NTSB and the FAA, the two primary regulators of America, are already involved in operations. They've got, certainly would have police helicopters involved over there. The presence of the Potomac River indicates that at least a few of these helicopters would have quick reaction teams with divers on board. Whether the wreckage went down entirely in the Potomac River or it's partly on the airfield is detail that we do not have at this stage. Again, the FAA has come in with these details. American Airlines has also tweeted a little while back. We are aware of reports that American Eagle Flight 5342, operated by PSA with service from Wichita, has been involved in an incident. We'll provide more information later on. So this is a very, very tragic situation. And, from the initial bits of information that we are reporting for you right now, I think the focus is now on rescue operations. Would that actually be possible at this juncture? That's something, unfortunately, we do not know.
Right, Vishnu, take us through the challenges involved in a crash that takes place in water as opposed to ground. And had this crash perhaps taken place on the ground, would it perhaps have been a safer landing?
Well, that really depends. In some cases, if there's an emergency and an aircraft lands on the water, as we've seen in the Hudson incident with Captain Sully Sullenberger, then a safe landing can be made extremely difficult, of course. Be that as it may, that's not the scenario we are looking at all. This is a mid-air collision. The aircraft broke up mid-air. It would not have been in a condition to fly at that stage. And the images actually indicate the explosion. And at that altitude, the aircraft just fell. Now, I am unclear at this stage about whether any part of that aircraft was within within the airfield itself, or it just went into the Potomac River. So that's detail that local reporters would be able to confirm. But if it did go into the Potomac, there would be divers out there. There'd be police helicopters involved. In fact, Flight Radar 24 already, when I checked a few minutes back, indicated the presence of 3 helicopters, presumably search and rescue helicopters, involved in the operations in that aircraft, in that situation. So that's what the situation is presently in the United States. It is very, very sad indeed. I'm just going to go back to what the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, has said. It was 44 minutes or so back when they issued, their statement about them being aware of the situation which took place. It is so it's preliminary information at this stage. We're going to be staying with these images, get back our correspondence from Washington. We also know that just